Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here. Today I'm talking about the movie Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie first before you watch this review. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a science fiction dystopian action adventure film directed by Wes Ball and written by Josh Friedman. That's a sequel to War of the Planet of the Apes, the fourth installment in the Planet of the Apes reboot franchise and the 10th film overall. It takes place about 300 years after the events of War of the Planet of the Apes, follows a young chimpanzee named Noah, who embarks on a journey alongside a human woman named May to determine the future for apes and humans alike. So as far as what I liked about the cast overall, what I liked about the movie overall, I liked the cast. Owen Teague as Noah was good as the young main chimpanzee. I liked Lydia Peckham as Suna and Travis Jeffrey as Anaya, the other two friends. And I think they did a pretty good job of distinguishing the three characters, and so I could pretty easily tell who was who. Kevin Durand as Proximus Caesar is by far the stand on this. He's amazing in this. He's really great. He's the evil bonobo monarch who's trying to take them over and everything else. He's great. I really like Peter Macon as Raka as well. He's got a really good, really expressive face. I mean, I assume they did the motion capture stuff with the face and everything, but he does some really cool kind of subtle things with his like mouth and his jaw that I really, really liked. Freya, as far as the humans go, Freya Allan as May was good as well. I don't really know her. I know she was on The Witcher. I didn't watch that show. But yeah, she's in this as well. She looks better with brown hair, I think. But yeah, she was good in this. William H. Macy, of course, always great. He's always good. He's very funny and weird and crazy. I love Senseless. I love pretty much everything William Macy's done. So, good for him. Dyken Lockman, she's barely in this, but she shows up for a second as one of the human satellite people or whatever. She's good. I don't know if she ever actually talks or anything, but I like her. So it's good to see her in this. I think the cinematography was fairly well done. It was by Gyula Patos. He's a Hungarian guy. He works with the director Wes Ball a lot. He did all the Maze Runner movies. He also did Predators and Jumanji and Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle and sequel, and then Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which was the second Shazam movie, I believe. I really like the music in this one. It was by a guy named John Paisano. He also works with Wes Ball a lot. He also did the Daredevil TV show, The Defenders, and he did some video game stuff like Detroit Become Human and the most recent Spider-Man games, all three of those, I think. Yeah, I really like the music in this, especially there's a scene where they're kind of going across this bridge, and I really liked what they were doing with the score there. They had some cool stuff going on with like the drums and a really good way of building tension. I really like the music in this quite a bit, actually. I thought the opening sequence in this movie was awesome. I loved it. I loved this, trying to figure out what's going on here. So you've got these little chimps. They're climbing up to this, eagle's nest or whatever to steal the eggs, and they're like, no, wait, we have to leave one. It's the law. And it's like, okay, so what's going on? They're going to eat these eggs? Is that what's going on? Or what's, I don't understand. And then you realize, no, they're not going to eat these eggs. They're going to take them back and raise these eagles because there's these group of chimps or apes or whatever that live with like eagle companions. That's awesome. That is so cool. That's such a cool idea. I really wanted to see more of that. And I really like there's a lot of cool world building stuff in there. And I really appreciated all of that. I also really liked Proximus's defeat, the way they sort of defeat him at the end, but with the Eagles. The Eagles come in and they kind of take him out and everything else. And there's this whole debate that May and Noah have at the end where, he kind of wants to take over the human stuff. And she's like, no, this was made for humans, not apes. And they have this kind of debate about what does that matter and what is the world like and what is this world we're living in now? And it's interesting. I think that was a pretty interesting part of the movie. As far as what I disliked about the movie, I don't get why they called her Nova. It's just whole, we call all echoes Nova or whatever. Yeah, okay, I get it because you want to reference the other movies, but that's dumb. Stop it. Also, when you have a character named Noah and then another character named Nova, that's really annoying. Don't do that. It's like basic screenwriting shit. Stop it. And then they call her May throughout most of the movies. So you're like, why did you do that? It was just like an Easter egg. It was just like a callback. I don't know. So, like I said, there was a lot of world building here, but I would say almost too much world building. Like I really liked all the stuff with the eagles and the apes or the chimps or whatever. That was cool. But once like the bad apes came in there, the bonobo and the gorillas and stuff, I was like, okay. Actually, I really liked it at first because I thought, oh, hey, is this the humans? Oh, they're playing the humans like they're villains, like there's some sort of like serial killers, and that's really cool. And then it was just other apes, so I was like, eh. And so, again, much as I loved Kevin Durand's performance, it was just like a little bit. And really, I think my biggest criticism with this movie is it just really felt like they were just trying to set it up for sequels. This entire movie felt like it was just a setup for the rest of the movies. In a lot of ways, the last Spider-Verse movie was kind of the same way, where it didn't feel like a complete movie. It felt like you told part of a story and then stopped, and it's like, Well, that's not very fulfilling or satisfying, especially considering how long this movie was. You still didn't really manage to tell much of a story. I mean, there was a story, but I don't know. I was a little disappointed. And I keep hearing everyone talking about how great the CGI in this is. Oh, it's like Avatar level CGI. What did we watch the same movie? I mean, the CGI is fine in this. It's mostly good, but the eagles flying at the beginning was terrible. I thought it was just straight bad. As soon as I watched, it, I'm like, oh, this looks terrible. And I granted, I like birds. I watch eagle. I have a hawk that lives by my house, so maybe I'm a little more. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. For all I know, that was real footage of eagles flying, and I'm just an idiot. But to me, the movement of the eagles as they were flying looked very fake. I think the eagles themselves look fine. I think some of the chimps, their faces up close, some of the apes in general, didn't look great depending on the lighting. Again, mostly good, but there were times that I wasn't like, oh my God, this looks real. This looks like photorealistic. Like there was definitely a couple times where I was like, oh, I'm watching a CGI, characters. And I think really the movie, like I really liked the beginning and I like parts of the ending, but the middle there was just really kind of a boring slog for me. I was bored. At some point I started to doze off and fall asleep. Movie is way too long. It's like 2.5 hours. It does not need to be that long. And as much as I like Proximus's defeat, it's kind of the same from the Crow City of Angels. I realize it's actually more a reference to the way Caesar was defeated, I think. But I was just like watching, hey, wait, that's how the Crow City of Angels ended, basically. That's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, I feel like this movie had a lot of potential, and I went into it really wanting to like it, and it just didn't work for me in a lot of ways. I think it's mostly because I didn't care as much about the apes, and I had a hard time like really relating to the apes because there's a long stretch of this movie where everything is CGI. As far as I know, I assume most of this movie is all CGI, the entire opening sequence and all that. So it for me, it got a little boring where, and I've heard other people say the opposite. I've heard other people say, oh, the human characters are boring and they're not very well fleshed out. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But for me personally, I think I don't care about CGI apes as much. And I also think when Godzilla came out, or Godzilla Kong came out a couple months ago, they did a really cool sequence with the apes, or with apes, I guess, whatever. That was without any words. That was great and compelling and really well done. And I remember seeing that and going, oh, that new Apes movie's got its work cut out for it here. And as far as I'm concerned, it did not get anywhere close. If I'm using that as a reference, I think I gave that movie a 7. I probably should have given it an 8 because I really liked that movie. This movie fell far, far flat of what I got from that. So the movie is directed by Wes Ball. He's done the Maze Runner movies. That's about it. Those are all based on a series of YA novels. I've never seen any of those. In my head, they're the same as the Divergent type movies. They're all these kind of like post Hunger Games dystopian YA novels that are all the same. I think I've heard good things about them, but I honestly don't. I've never seen them. I don't know anything about them. It was written by Josh Friedman. He worked on the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I did like that show. He did the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds back in 2005, 2006, I think, with Tom Cruise. Terminator Dark Fate and Avatar The Way of Water. He also did the Black Dahlia, and I believe he's working on the third Avatar movie, whatever the next Avatar movie is. So yeah, he's got some decent credits, I would say. Budget on this movie is $160 million. So far, it's made $129 million. 56.5 million of that was domestic, which is on the high end of estimates. I think they were estimating it to be like 50 to 55 million, so it did even a little better than they expected. So good. It sounds like the movie is going to do fine. It's probably going to make its money back, so good for them, I suppose. Rotten Tomato scores in this are pretty good. Critics are at 81%, and the audience is at 78%. So most people really seem to like this, which, like I said, kind of surprised me because as I'm watching it, every movie I see, I always want to like it, and I loved the beginning, and then I feel myself kind of losing interest and going like, okay, I guess this movie's going to be like a 7 maybe, and then it keeps getting worse, and I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, I'm going to go home and check the scores, and everyone's going to hate this movie, but no, people seem to really like it. So I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is the first movie that's a Walt Disney movie because Disney has to own everything now. So yeah, they own apes now. I guess was it Fox thing probably? I don't know. Wes Ball, the director, was talking about the size of the data, and he's like, oh, the simulation data, the cache file was 10 to 11 petabytes. That's more in the way of water, which is not right. The way of water used 18.5 petabytes, but whatever. And also, I don't care if you're bragging about your movie, we use so many petabytes of data on this movie. Fuck off, dude. Make a real fucking movie. Stop it. I don't care how many petabytes of data you use. It's fucking stupid. Like I said, the whole Proximus Caesar death was the Julius Caesar, Ides of March and all that kind of stuff. And Proximus Caesar is kind of reminiscent to Koba, who is also a bonobo. And so are all bonobos evil? I don't, and are all chimps good? Like, is that what's going on here? Some weird racial divide? I don't think that's what they were trying to do, but it just seems a little odd that they're like, hey, remember that last Koba guy? Let's do another guy who's the exact same species as that guy. But then even though he's supposed to be a bonobo, they say he actually looks more like a chimp. So I'm like, what are you doing here? I don't know. And then according to Freya Allan, initially the ending of the movie was a little different. They do show when May comes to visit Noah, she's got like a gun behind her back. She said originally that was going to be a little more sinister, and she was going to be there to kill him because he scares her, and she doesn't want to kill him, and she was going to pull the gun, and then she kind of changed their mind. So she says the edit they did was better. I didn't see the original, so I don't really know, but I did sort of like that aspect of the movie, the fact that it was a little confusing. You know, she's got the gun behind her back. You're like, oh, what's going on here? And so that was interesting to me for sure. But I also think part of the issue I have with this movie is I feel like they were trying to set it up as like, ooh, who's the good guys here? The apes or the humans? No, the humans are the good guys because we're humans. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm never going to side with apes over humans. That's insane. They're apes. That being said, I watched Creator and I was totally siding with the machines in that one. But and a lot of people thought that movie was dumb and not very well done. I think this movie's dumb. So I don't know. There's no accounting for taste. That being said, it's mostly well made. I think it's okay. I just really think it needed better directing and better editing, I think is maybe my main issue. So like based on this, I'm not going to go back and watch any of those Maze Runner movies because this did not impress me very much. So I think my score on this one's going to be a 6 out of 10. I think it was fine. I think it was mostly well made. I just didn't like it very much personally. But if you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night. I will see you here again next week.